Hello, you guys. My name's Joanne Kaminski, and today we are going to be talking about what should you do if a parent decides to join the tutoring sessions. Stay tuned. So we had an incredible question that was asked throughout the week, and lots of you guys wanted to come on in and respond as well. And I love that inside of the Ultimate Support Group on Facebook that we have this awesome community that just supports each other. Whenever people have a question, they throw it on in. If you're not a member of the Ultimate Support Group for online tutors yet on Facebook, definitely join us today. But today, our question comes from Barry, and he wanted to know, where do you draw the line with parents who join lessons? He said, I have one parent who's an active participant and not in a good way. He works on the problems too, and last class I heard him giving the student the right answer, which annoyed me considerably. I know that he's paying and wants to support his son, but I feel at this point there should only be 2 people in the class. I had a problem when I brought this up with another parent who promptly canceled the class. You know what, Barry? I had the same exact thing happen to me. I was working with a student and I'm a reading tutor. And so as we're reading the passage, the parent would be giving the child the word. But I have a specific process that I go through for the child to figure out the word, right? And so we look at the beginning of the word, we look at the end of the word, we take a look and we think, does that make sense, right? Because we are trying to foster independence. We're also trying to foster, like for me, I need to know that metacognition, right? They need to know how their brain is thinking so that when they get into the situation in the future, they are able to alleviate it on their own because I won't always be there, right? And if somebody's always there giving them the word, they become the strategy. So I really struggled with that as well. And so I said to the parent, are you giving him the word? And just kind of like I was just asking, like, because it felt like this little like echo, like I heard the word coming out and then the child would say it. And that parent also, that was their last session that they ever had with me. So I have learned as well that the very first thing that I need to be is very consistent. And I need to be consistent right out of the gate in the beginning and have clear communication. So it all starts when I have that very first interaction with them. So I do a free assessment. Some people do a free consultation. So it really depends on what your setup is. But this could even be done during the first lesson, is free the parents from the session. So I will actually say, hey, so now it's totally up to you. If you want to be able to just hang out and listen to what's going on, you're more than welcome to do that. Or if you have other things that you need to get done, you are more than welcome to do those as well. And then we go on our way. And then I have in my letter of expectations written out what I expect to happen during the session, that the parent is not to be the teacher, that, I am there to be able to help the child. I have a specific way of being able to help them. If you want to observe, you're more than welcome to observe, but to kind of jump on in and be a second teacher it kind of stops the ability for me to be able to help your child in the way I need to be able to help them. Now, there are certain circumstances where it is extremely helpful to have the parent there. If you've got a child with behavior issues and they are there to focus on managing the behavior, that is great. Fantastic. There are some like younger kids that I work with, age 3, 4 years old, that I'm working with, where having a parent there is essential because they are unable to manage their own behaviors on their own and they need that help and they need that guidance. But as soon as kids are able to manage their own behavior, sometimes I even have 4-year-olds who are fine. They don't need anybody there with them. It's totally fine, and we can go on with our lesson and do what it is that we need to do, and no parent needs to be present. So it's a case by case kind of situation. But if the behaviors are coming on in, and I do need the parent to be there so that we can have an effective lesson, cool. But then I also have to let them know that they are only there to manage the behavior. If we have 2 teachers teaching them, it's going to be very confusing for them. So there are times where it does work really well to have a parent there, and there are times where it doesn't work to have a parent there. If the parent is going to be scrutinizing every single move that you make as a teacher and questioning why you did something or why you didn't do something, they're now crossing a line into the relationship. And this really is a relationship. It's a relationship with the family, it's a relationship with the student, right? And so we want to make sure that we have a positive relationship on both sides. At the same time, we don't want to be, so tough on the parents that they don't feel welcome or comfortable, kind of watching and seeing what's happening. A lot of parents kind of like to watch from the background, and I'm totally okay with that. I want them to know what is happening during the session. I have nothing to hide, as I'm sure all of you guys have nothing to hide as well. So I love that you guys also gave some other comments and all of those kinds of things as well when it came to this particular, scenario. And, we have, please allow my son to figure out the problems on his own so that he too learns how to do it. Or I think, at the same time, just having those different kinds of scenarios written out um, ahead of time, like what is okay, what's not okay. Like it's okay for you to, if your child is really struggling with focusing, it's okay for you to be there to help them focus. Um, I've had it where the parent was there, both parents were actually in the room at the same time. And uh, while both parents were in the room at the same time, one was doing the dishes. And so it was like clink, 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 clink. All I heard was like all of this noise. And then you had the other parent sitting right next to him, and he's constantly looking at his parent for the answers. And so I would have to look at him and be like, are who are you looking at right now? And he'd be like, oh, I'm looking at my mom. I'm like, okay, your mom doesn't have the answer right now. You got to go right here. You got to go inside. You got to think about this one, right? This isn't going to be something that somebody's just going to give you the answer to. We need to focus and figure this out. And so, that was one thing. But he would hear a noise then in the kitchen, and his head would just like go on off into this direction, and he'd be off focus again. So having both parents in the room was actually a huge distraction for him. And I just had to, when we reevaluated if I was going to continue to work with him, I said, hey, it's going to be really important that wherever you have your child, obviously want him to be in a safe place where you guys can see what's happening, but he has to be in a zone that is determined to be a quiet zone during tutoring. Due to his ADHD, certain sounds will catch his attention, which then take him off focus, and then he's not able to pay attention to what we're working on at the time. He gets lost, and then he needs me to redirect him or to re-ask a question 10 times so that he can focus because he's so distracted by the other outside noises. So it really comes down to, in the beginning, kind of laying out what is appropriate, what's not appropriate, right from the get-go with parents. And it's okay to have like a list of, here are the expectations that I have during tutoring. Here are the expectations I have for, showing up on time. Here are the expectations that I have for, how sessions work. And here are the expectations that you can have of me. You can expect that I'm going to show up on time. You can expect that if there are any problems that I'm going to communicate with you. You can expect every 3 months I'm going to do an assessment. Whatever your expectations that they should have of you are, you can lay those out as well. So it's not just about like, here are all the things that you have to do. And it doesn't seem like harsh. It's just like, hey, here's the expectations on both sides. Do you agree to this? Some people make them sign them like a contract, and some people just send it to the parents so that they just have access to that. So it's totally up to you on how you want to be able to handle that. But I do think setting those clear expectations right out of the gate, being consistent, having those conversations can be tough. It may mean losing a student, and pay to lose a student. Know that another student is going to come on in. I know it feels bad. It feels like rejection, and it feels like I shouldn't tell parents when things aren't going right. I think it's totally okay for parents to be there if they're helping to support the learning. But when they're all of a sudden now overtaking the lesson or doing things that could be harming the learning process, something absolutely needs to be addressed. And we can't be silent when it comes to that. And say, wow, you really have a high enthusiasm for math. That's so cool. I need to have him, though, right now, kind of try to figure the problem out. And I need to be able to determine where are the mistakes happening with that problem so that he can be more successful with it. All right. Do you like videos like this? If so, please hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and let's keep asking those questions and continuing the conversations so that we can run our business in the most professional way possible. Now, this week, our doors to the Jumpstart Your Online Tutoring Business Masterclass open. And this is so exciting, you guys. This is where we have a group of tutors who go through the same steps at the same time, getting more students to fill the seats that they have open. And they learn all of the best practices that need to be put into place in their business. And our goal is to get one student or a whole lot more. And you have a results guarantee. If you are not able to get one student or a whole lot more as you go through the program, then and you have done all of the work that's required of the program, I actually will refund the money to you guys. And here's why. I personally believe that I should not get paid if I do not deliver on the results that I say that you should get. Okay. So my goal is to leave no tutor behind. It is our goal to support you and get a student for your tutoring business because that will pay for the program 10 times over, if not more, if not 100 or 1,000 times over, because you're going to be able to use the information that you are getting in the course to really get more students constantly finding you without always having to put your information out there, advertise, or do other things. You will automatically have people messaging you inside of your inbox asking if you have a space open, and you get to the point where you're completely booked solid, you don't have any more spots open. That's where we want to drive you and get you in your tutoring business. So if you are interested in joining us, the doors are open this week, and all you have to do is click on the link in the description and you'll be able to join us in the Jumpstart Your Online Tutoring Business Masterclass. Doors do close Friday at midnight. And so that is the last opportunity you have to join us for this cohort. And we won't be opening the doors again until the next year. So not until 2024. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me today and enjoy the rest of your day.